Hola people, how you doing? Justin here. In this little lesson today we're going to be having a chat about slash chords. Now I'm sure many of you have seen things like D/F sharp and wondered what it meant. Maybe it was two chords at the same time. Well, luckily for you, I'm here to explain it to you, and it's really simple. All slash chords are indicating a different bass note for the chord. And a lot of the times you don't even have to worry about playing that bass note because the bass player will be playing it. So if you see, say, the chord D/F sharp, all it's meaning is it's a D chord slash with an F sharp bass note. That's all it is. Chord slash bass note. Now sometimes this can be incredibly easy. If we took, say, a regular E minor chord. Now if it was E minor slash B, all you would have to do is play it with starting from the 5th string and just leave off that thicker string, which was the note E, because now the lowest note, the bass note of the chord, is the note B. Now that's the principle of it, and it's really that simple. Of course, in order to be able to find your own slash chords, you need to know what the notes are, at least on the thickest 2 strings, because that's usually where you'd put that bass note, is on one of those 2 strings. So making an essential skill really for all of you guys would be knowing the notes on the bottom 2 strings, because you need that for your power chords and your bar chords and your scales and everything. So make sure you get that down, and you can kind of make up your slash chords yourself and just pick any chord and then try and figure out what it sounds like with a different bass note. You might go, well, here's a D chord. What it sounds like if I put a C bass note on it. Where's a C? Okay, there's a C there on the 5th string there. So if I move my 3rd finger over to play that and put my little finger back where it was before, pretty funky sounding chord. Not a very common one probably, but it's a slash chord, and you can really do any chord with any bass note. A lot of more complex jazz stuff has some pretty outrageous slash chords in it that sound pretty dissonant. You get your D flat over C or whatever that sounds a bit, you know, things like that. You know, they sound pretty outside, you know. But and they're not really that common. For a beginner guitar player, which I'm guessing you are if you're not so sure what your slash chords are, or maybe you're a great guitar player and you've just never discovered slash chords before, there are a few really common ones which I want to go through with you now, and I'll explain it in a bit of a close-up for you, I think. So let's go close, let's get closer. Regular D chord, and one of the most common slash chords is D/F sharp. Now, hopefully some of you know already, but that note there is the note F sharp. So if we've got a D chord and we want to put an F sharp bass on it, there's a couple of ways of doing it. First of all, you could wrap your thumb around now. You can play that 5th string there if you want. I usually let the thumb mute that string as well. I think it sounds a bit sweeter, but that's really your call. But getting the thumb over can be quite a hard technique, and a much more common way of playing that chord is like this, with 1st finger on the F sharp. That also mutes this string is muted by the underneath of the 1st finger. The D string is open, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, and the thinnest string is also muted. This is a really common way of playing it. Now, one of the most common movements is to go from G to D with an F sharp bass to E minor, and back again maybe to D with an F sharp bass. G, D with an F sharp bass. You can see there that coming from the G, the 3rd finger is staying where it is, 2nd finger's going down, 1st finger's going over to the bass, and then to E minor, the 1st finger comes back over, 2nd finger goes up, and 3rd finger comes off. Sometimes it sounds nice to leave that one down as well. And then you get an E minor 7. But that's a really common song, or movement in songs I should say. So that's your D with an F sharp bass. Either like that, you can play it like that as well. It's not an uncommon way to play it. You could play it like just with your 1st finger reaching over, or like that. Doesn't really matter what fingers you use, to be honest. You'd use different fingers in different circumstances, but that's a D with an F sharp bass, really common one. Now another common one is G with a B bass. So there's a regular G chord, and this note here with your 1st finger, that's the note B. So if you're using the tip of your 1st finger there to mute the 6th string, you've now got a G with a B bass. Now that's a good way of playing it if it's by itself, but usually it's found in between the chords G, sorry, C, G with a B bass, and A minor. So if you're going to do it that way, it's a lot easier to finger it. There's the C chord. Now second finger moves over to the B, third finger comes off, and little finger goes down on the note D, making sure that the sixth string is muted. The tip of that second finger is pressing up there to mute the sixth string. Little finger is also muting the first string. Although it doesn't hurt really to, if you want to have that open E string, open it often sounds nice, but it's not officially part of the chord. And then you can see your hands already kind of in position for the A minor. And then back to G with a B bass, second finger steps over, other two fingers lift off, little finger goes down. There's your G with a B bass, C, G with a B bass, A minor, G with a B bass. You can make a nice little song out of that, really. C, G with a B bass, A minor. Now here's a common one as well. A minor with a G bass. So just reaching over with a little finger there to hit the note G. So that would be an A minor slash G. Not that hard really, is it? Or instead of that you might go G with a B bass, A minor. Then you might go G, B with a F sharp bass, E minor. Often follows vocals. It's used in Wonderwall and A Miss American Pie. There's hundreds of songs that use these kind of movements. Now another really nice little one that you might want to experiment with is A chord. Now, and maybe a lot of you have learned A chord like this or whatever. If you're going to do slash chords, generally you'd play A with a little bar, making sure the thinnest string again, that one up there, is muted with the underneath your first finger. So you're pressing down just 3 strings. Now a really nice common one is to reach over with that third finger and play A with a C sharp bass. It's just a really nice sound. D, A with a C sharp bass, E. That's a common movement. There's lots and lots of songs that use these things. But so that's A with a C sharp bass, but we could have, say, A chord with a G bass. See, it's just really, it's an A chord and you can put on whatever bass you want. You could put a F sharp bass, play the A with your third finger, do that. That'd be an A with an F sharp bass, also called F sharp minor 7, but you could call it A with an F sharp bass. That would be cool. You could put an F bass on it. Pretty wacky sounding chord, but it still works. You can really, you can go mad with these things. Another really common one, I'm just trying to get as many common ones as I can here. This is C chord, C with a G bass, C slash G. There's your G note, so you just move that finger from the C, plock it on the old G there. Now the 5th string is muted. C with a G bass, C slash G. Really common in country. C, C with a G bass. You kind of do that for another reason, but it's still, that's what it is. C, C with a G bass. You can really go mad with them. So I hope after that you're not scared of seeing slash chords anymore. It does take a little while to get used to learning all of the different shapes because there's so many variations possible. There are kind of a lot of slash chords to learn. But what I'd recommend is having a little bit of an experiment yourself and seeing, you know, what chord you can put what bass note with, and see if you can come up with some funky chords. You know, especially if you're a songwriter, you can really get. It's a nice way of kind of getting a bit creative with a simple idea. So hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe if you haven't already to the channel, and go and check out the website where I'll stick some little chord boxes and stuff like that up for this lesson. So hope you're all good. Take care of yourselves. See you later from sunny London. Later, bye.